Welcome back to the video game version of my room. Seriously, it is that cold. Hello everyone, this is the Mississippi King welcoming y'all back to more Let's Play Golden Axe Warrior. And this is actually the second to last episode. No, seriously. We are that close to being done with the game. And in this part, we're going to tackle the ninth dungeon. This one's gonna be pretty long. Fortunately, I know what I'm doing, so yeah, I've actually done a practice file on this, which I should probably be doing for Ocarina of Time too, because of how much utter suckage I have had during that game, but oh well, I can't really do that. But yeah, this game I actually have done a practice file on it. The practice file is basically where I, actually do the game beforehand and hopefully get things right, or at the very least, if I screw up, it'll be off camera, so I'll know what I'm doing, where to go, and all of that. Nevertheless, this dungeon is fairly tricky and complicated. I mean, I may need a map, or something like that. Like, seriously, wait, actually, if I'm not mistaken, you actually have a map of the dungeons. But like, you fill them in yourself? Yeah, that's correct. This episode, we're actually going to beat the boss of the ninth dungeon. And get the dungeon item, as you may expect. But this dungeon has some ferocious puzzles. Well, not puzzles, ferocious enemies, I should say. Also, like, all that snow back there, kind of reminds me of the few times in which we actually get snow where I live. Because, like, I don't really get that much snow where I live. And when I do, it's like, wow, there's so much snow, you can have a snowball fight or something. And I do get snow every year, but it's like, not that frequent. It doesn't typically last for too long. It's another reused boss fight, which, again, it kind of shows its age. But in this next room, we have some shell enemies. These things are just plain annoying. They're weird. They're sort of like the opposite of Darknuts, in which you can only ever hit them when you're facing them, whereas Darknuts, it's the opposite. The only time you can hit them is when you're not facing them, but they're equally as annoying. And I died. But before I go back, I am going to show you another secret that I missed. There's actually a magic shop here in Altarolia, in the snowy section. And now that that's been shown off, back to the dungeon, I say. Now that we're back, it's time to get revenge on these shell thingies. Or whatever they're called. Seriously, someone should... They have to have some name. I can't just keep calling them the shell thingies, cause that's stupid. just like how I'm playing. And this last one is really giving me a hard time. You get over here. Okay, seriously, this is getting annoying. This dungeon was like a box of chocolates. You never know what you're gonna get. In all seriousness, this dungeon is fairly complicated and confusing. But not nearly as much as the next one, trust me. The next one is just crazy. I mean, you think this dungeon has twists and turns? You ain't seen the next one. Oh yeah, a bit of a spoiler, there is a next dungeon. Because, you know, maybe Death Adder isn't the real villain. It's actually Ganondorf! No, but that would be pretty fitting. I mean, given how much this game is such a clone of the original Zelda, it'd just be really fitting if, like, the boss was hijacked by Ganon, because that's also what happens in the Zelda games a lot. And, you know, that is a bit of a thing that kind of bothers me about the Zelda games, is that, like, its original villains are really interesting. I mean, you have, like, Santa, Skull Kid, you have, well, actually, Skull Kid isn't really that interesting, but his effect on the plot is really what makes him so fascinating. And then you have, like, Girahim, who is, like, magnificent. I don't care what anyone says, he's one of the best villains in the series' history. And the thing with that is that, like, they're often, like, found out to not be the true villain, or, like, the spotlight is just sort of yanked from them at the last minute, and, oh, fooled you, it's actually Ganon this whole time, and it's like, you're not really given any time to take it in. You know what I'm saying? They just sort of plop that out of nowhere. You know, you can't really get invested as much if, like, with, like, a villain that, like, only shows up at the last minute, even if he is a recurring villain. And the games in which Ganondorf is the main villain for, like, the entirety of the game, those tend to work really well with their villains in that regard. Because it's like, it's been built up. He's been, like, set up as this villain from the start, so you know the main challenge. And this is partly why I like Ocarina of Time so much, is that it is, like, its villain is, like, set up, like, there's an arc. It is Ganon, but it's done so well in a way that, like, makes him interesting. Like, you want to see how this plays through. And he has an arc, or rather, you have an arc, and that arc is set up much better than in, say, another game like Twilight Princess, for example. Also, I should probably explain what the dungeon item is that we just recently got. How that works. Basically, it's a map. When you leave the dungeon, you can use it, and it provides a more detailed map of the overworld. Why they didn't just make that part of the overworld itself is beyond me. Well, I mean, there's kind of a reason, but I don't really want to go into it right now. Now it's the boss fight against a Death Adder? It seems this is the final battle, y'all. We're finally taking down... I'll do it real well. And I died. You know, you can either get busy living or get busy dying. Which, clearly I seem to be doing more of the latter than the former. Let's actually try and take this guy out for once. Maybe my barrage of thunder magic will make him go down easier. Actually, yeah, that is the secret. You just keep spamming the thunder magic like usual. Yeah, so much for being immortal. You can be killed by a bolt of lightning. I mean, what immortal can be killed by a bolt of lightning? That's pathetic. Well, I mean, I could be killed by a bolt of lightning, so... I mean... The internet is probably going to be thinking that I'm saying that I'm some sort of immortal being. Which I'm not. But thanks for the vote of confidence. He's almost down for the count. Soon you're gonna shake for the Mississippi King. Now you're gonna send for your medicine. We have the crystal at last, and why did we just get another heart into me? Like, what's going on? This isn't the end of the game? Why aren't the credits rolling? Well, yeah, it's not actually the end of the game. I kind of spoiled that, but yeah, this isn't actually the true end of the game. But what we want to do first is to head back to the princess who had promised to teach us to make the fire magic more effective. And she keeps her promise, and so now we have the best fire magic in the game. This pretty much is my final form. So, we are practically at, we are practically fully upgraded at this point. Now it's time to find the 6th dungeon. No, not the 6th, the 10th. And as you can see on the map, if you pay very close attention, there's actually a place, a conspicuous place near, what was it, the 6th dungeon? The 5th? Something like that. So you want to go that way, back to the, to whatever labyrinth it was. And that's actually where you'll find the 10th labyrinth. And we are really close to the end of the game. I mean, we are really just one episode away from it. I'm not kidding, the next video will be the finale of Let's Play Golden Axe Warrior. Are you getting emotional? Maybe not. Whatever. I can't force you to like my stuff. Though thanks for thinking that I am immortal. I mean, it's not true, but thanks for the vote of confidence. Before I end this episode, though, I want to actually find the 10th labyrinth. And that one is definitely a doozy, and we are not actually going to tackle it this part. I know this has been a relatively short video so far, but I think that it's best to tackle the next dungeon in the following video, since that will definitely take a while. I mean, just get ready. And I may as well save while I'm here, since, I mean, I probably am gonna need it. I'm not expecting to go through the next dungeon without dying. And as you can see, the walls have shaken, and the path to the final dungeon has opened up. So what you want to do is head to the left, and then set sail to reach the 10th dungeon. And I think that's all for this episode. This is the Mississippi King signing out, and in the next episode, we'll actually tackle the final dungeon and defeat Death Adder once and for all. See y'all next time for the finale of Let's Play Golden Axe Warrior.